Hello, welcome to my sewing room. My name is Carole. This is my channel Sew Carole, and welcome to the second in my mini series of I Can Sew That. The reason I say it like that is because we've all said it, and I put out a video a couple of weeks ago and I asked all of you if you ever say that to yourself, and so many of you have come back and said, yeah, you've done that, you've seen it, you've sewn it. You've seen it, you've sewn it. That's what I should have called this series. So this time round was a t-shirt. Now I know you're going to say to me, come on Carole, this is a t-shirt. Of course you can copy a t-shirt. We've got millions of t-shirt patterns and we make t-shirts all the time. But this was a little bit different for me. So I saw this t-shirt online, as you do. Adverts come up, and it's a shop that I used to buy stuff from all the time. It was just a simple grey t-shirt, but I don't know, for some reason I really liked the look of it. It's v-neck. Now I think I've made 2 v-neck t-shirts ever. I don't often wear them either. I don't know why. I'm always a bit worried about how low they'll come down, how revealing they'll be. But anyway, I really like this and I thought, come on, that is a grey t-shirt. You can do that. I'll put the picture in here of it. I'll put a couple of angles of it, and then I'll tell you how I went about putting it all together. So as I explained, it's a t-shirt. Come on. Would you believe I don't have any t-shirt patterns that was similar to this style? So as you can see, it's a very relaxed fit. It's got a v-neck. It's quite boxy with big tulle splits and comes down quite low. I went through all my t-shirts patterns and I couldn't find anything. Now I know that I could have just gone online. I could probably get a PDF, have it printed, be done. But that wasn't the point of my series. The point of my series is seeing something and then kind of using my brain to work out how I can do that. And obviously, as it's something like a t-shirt, then I know how to make a t-shirt, so I should be able to adapt some patterns that I have. And that's what I went on to do with these 2 patterns. Now I'm going to put some little bit of footage in here, how I kind of thought about how I was going to do it. Apologies, it was filmed on my phone, therefore it is portrait, and you will get 2 black little markers down the line. But apologies for that, but this is how I started. I've looked through all my patterns and I'm looking for, as you can tell by the picture, an oversized t-shirt with v-neck. Now I used to make this one all the time and it is quite oversized and it has got the sleeves. Obviously you can see it's high-low hem, but I can always level that off at the bottom and make that splits. So I'm going to dig that pattern out, but obviously I'm looking for a v-neck. Now I don't have many v-neck patterns, but I did have this one, which I have done, and it came out really well because it wasn't that low. So I'm going to get these 2 pattern pieces out and see if I think they could work. Apologies for the crumpled pattern pieces. These 2 pattern pieces are very different shapes indeed. You can see how this one's much slimmer and it does curve in at the waist, where this one is almost like a triangle and comes out. You can kind of see that on the pattern there, whereas this is much slimmer. But I mean, I'm trying to put, all I'm trying to get is kind of where best to put the V. So what I've done here is I've aligned the 2 fronts together, and that's telling me the angle should come down to there. I mean, look at the difference in the sleeves. It's very different shape. So I'm hoping it will work if I just lined up the top of the sleeves. Yeah, even the shoulder pieces are a different shape. Look how much different that is. And then I line up the fronts like that. So that tells me that the V I need to do, all I could do really is just fold this underneath piece down, but I'm going to mark it to there so I know not to go any further than that with a V. Okay, bit of a change of plan. I'm going to, when obviously this is the round neck, so it scoops out a little bit. I could cut an extra bit of pattern for that gap there, but what I'm going to do actually is pin the bigger one, the one that the shape I want, on top of the slimline version. I'm going to fold it all in so I get that exact shape to there, and then I'll ignore obviously what's underneath this, as you can see. So I'm going to tuck that under, pin this together, so I've got that line there and it still lines up with my centre mark, but I'm keeping all this. I promise I will iron this before I cut it out, but if you can see what I've done, so I've pinned one on top of the other. I've got the original nice straight line there. I've tucked under the one underneath, so I've still got the right arm that will match the sleeve, and I've made sure that the centre is all straight down there, so I haven't got kind of a crooked V-neck. I'm going to, obviously this was quite long, but I'm going to extend the bottom out quite a bit and make it, square it off. The back piece had high-low hem, didn't it? So I'm going to do that length there. But I'm going to iron this now and cut it all out and hope for the best. So all my pieces are here, front, back. I got the sleeve, and of course I'm having to use the V-neck neckband. I won't know if this is going to fit, so I'm going to cut it as it is. Worst case scenario, I might have to bring it in. I won't know until I actually put it on the mannequin and see. But worst case scenario, I can always put a seam, and that of course will be at the back anyway, and my hair covers that, so we don't need to worry about that. So right, I'm going to cut out my fabric. I've cut out the back, and as you can see, I've taken that whole curve off and I've just straightened it. But what I'm going to do now, because I want to make sure that the front that I'm just about to cut out has the same length, I'm going to extend that down. I'm going to measure the side seams and extend this line down and then cut it. So it'll actually bear no resemblance to the pattern piece, but that's the way, so I know that they're both kind of level. Just as a footnote, it's all cut out. I hope this works because I really don't have much left of this fabric at all. I only bought a metre, and there's not much there to recut any fronts. So I then went on to make the t-shirt, and before I give you the great reveal, she's waiting in the wings, I just wanted to say, I talked about the neckband. Now what I ended up doing, I thought the neckband might be too long. It actually was too short. So the neckband of this, obviously the back must have come up higher than this one. And actually, if you look at it, this one does scoop down. So what I had to do was actually, I only discovered it as I was sewing the neckband on. I was nearly halfway through, and I was thinking, this is pulling this bit too tight. It's going to get the ridges. So I stopped sewing and I actually added a little bit of fabric into the band and on the back, so you can't see it, and that worked a treat. So this bit looks okay. The back bit's just got a bit of extra, but that's the benefit of having long hair, isn't it? So that's the only thing I did. I put masses of length on because I wanted to be able to adapt it, and in the end I ended up chopping 3.5 inches off the bottom, and also raised the slits in the sides. So that's why I cut it so long, so I could play around with the length of it, because until I tried it on I didn't know where it was going to land. So I didn't explain this pattern here. It used to be great. I used to use all the time for my daughter and me, and that is New Look 6556. What I have never made is this version here. I used to make this all the time. This version here. I don't know if I liked the angle bit there, but maybe if you just chopped it off and made it level, I think it's quite a nice shape. I might try that one day. And this was, I said I think I've only made 1 or 2 t-shirts, and I was right, but this is the one that I've made, and it was really successful. It was quite curved, but I took it out, and that was New Look 6351. Great pair of trousers on there as well. And I think I've made the skirt. So I made everything apart from the jacket. I've got no call for jackets in my life. So let's get my model. So here is the finished garment, and I have to say I'm really, really pleased. And there's only one thing that's annoying me, and I've just got to leave it. So for only have done a couple of V-necks, I did quite a good job. I may take it off in a minute and I'll give you a closer look just to show I'm not cheating. But it came out very swingy and boxy, just like the photo. Got the side splits either side, and the sleeves. That was the thing for me. I did have kind of relaxed pattern, but it didn't have sleeves, so I had to make sure I had the pattern with sleeves. So what annoys me, the thing that annoys me is the fact that her sleeves are quite wide, and I completely forgot about this pattern, that the sleeves are quite narrow. They are quite tight. I think I showed you after I cut out that I had very little fabric left, so there was nothing I could do, and these are the sleeves that it has. But I have to say, this I made in a beautiful bamboo viscose jersey. Viscose jersey. It is so floppy. It feels absolutely beautiful. I think I got it from Minerva. I will check and I will put it in the description box down below. But it hangs beautifully. It feels, you can see the movement in it there. It's just gorgeous to wear. So it stretches really well, so it will be fine. It'll be fine. The size I made was the same size I used to make, but that was 3 years ago, and it was an extra small, and I think it's a teeny bit tight on me, but it's fine for what I'm using it for. So I think I'm going to either try and get another one of those patterns, because I cut all my patterns. So although I've got a medium that I used to make for my daughter, really I need to go up a size, but there we go. That's life. What is this? What is this? I can hear you saying, what is this? In the original that I copied, they had just a small logo in the bottom corner, and it was, I think it's meant to be cairns. Now cairns are what we call, I think there are different names for it. You know, when you go somewhere on a beach somewhere and people have balanced stones on top of each other, well, that's what I think it's meant to be. Now I couldn't find anything like that on my embroidery machine, and very lucky I have an embroidery machine. So I typed in yoga to the Artspira app. Side note, in a couple of weeks' time I'm doing a video on the Artspira app to explain more about it. But anyway, I typed it in and yoga, this came up, and of course it's someone in a lotus position, and it had a different colour heart. Now I thought that was perfect. I have to say I can't do the lotus position. I can only do half lotus. So yeah, I just thought I've just added something in the bottom corner. Now anybody that's got an embroidery machine will know it's probably better to do the embroidery first before you sew the whole thing. Because I didn't know the length I needed, I had to make the whole thing and then do the embroidery, which is nerve-wracking to say the least, because if it had gone wrong, then the whole thing would have been ruined, and it would have ended up sort of a crop top. So as I say, I'll take it off and then you can kind of have a good look. So this was the embroidery here, obviously a person. I just loved it. I did it in the grey, so it didn't stand out too much, but I thought I ought to do the heart in pink. Oh, and I promised to show you the V-neck. Very brave, aren't I? So I don't think that's too bad, especially as I hadn't done it many times before. I put a neck binding on there because Rachel from the French Seams always does neck bindings, so I've vowed to always do them. So I did it just in the grey this time. Didn't want it to stand out too much. But just noticed I've got one of my markers on. Now these dots, especially with fabric like this, when I really couldn't tell the right and the wrong side, I put sticky dots on. So I've cut them out, still got the pattern pieces on, and I put sticky dots on everything. But the downside is, as you can see, sometimes I forget to remove them, and I can be out and about shopping or whatever and have them on there. But there we go. I'm really, really happy with it. It's beautiful fabric. It feels beautiful. It's just a light, breezy kind of exercise t-shirt. cover the lady back up because it's not decent. I'm happy. I think I've achieved it, and yes, I know it was just a t-shirt, but I had to work quite hard. Normally I can bash out in a t-shirt in about an hour. After I cut it out, it's easily an hour. This took me a good 2.5 hours to try and work out the neck, do the neck. I made sure I did it all nicely, work out the length and things like that. So it was harder work than a normal t-shirt. That was project number 2. Now, in case you didn't catch my first video, I will put the link above. It was to make a comfy, smart pair of trousers out of Ponte, which again, I'd seen advertised all the time. And I just want to do an update on those. I wear them all the time. I absolutely love them. I wear the blue a lot, and I wear the black, and I feel really smart in the black. It's crazy. We're shortly going away flying, and they're going to be the perfect travelling trousers. So yeah, that was number 2. So what am I going to do for number 3? Right, I have seen this skirt. Now, I don't normally wear skirts, but I do make the exception in the winter because with long boots and thick tights, I feel quite confident. So I saw this skirt advertised and I really loved it. So what's different about it? The difference is, now you probably won't be able to tell, but so it's a straight skirt, but they've done the checks on the diagonal, and they've got little fake welt pockets on the front, and they're leather. I think they're just leather. Now, I can't get started with it yet because I am waiting for the fabric. Now, I've looked long and hard for similar fabric to the picture, and I've more or less got something that's kind of like that. So I'm waiting for that to come from Germany along with the kind of black leather bit. I'm not sure about that because I'm not like a leather girl, but we shall see. But I love the way it was on the diagonal. So short little skirt. I do have many skirt patterns that I haven't really touched the whole time I've had them. So that will be my next project, but I'm sorry I can't show you the fabric, and I can't even show you the pattern I'm going to use. So yeah, you just have to look out for that. So that'll be in a few weeks because I'm still waiting for it. So thank you very much for joining me, and I really hope you enjoy this video. I really appreciate you spending time with me in my sewing room, and maybe it's given you some inspiration to not just see something, but actually see it and sew it. Thank you again. I would love your company on a Friday when I put out #Friday Sews. I will see you before long. Goodbye for now.